Hi everyone. I'd like to introduce you to our first holistic expert today. Her name is Lyndall Coburn and she is the owner of House of Stealing Beauty. I'd love to introduce you further to her and her expertise and her bio. I'm going to hand over to you now. Hi Lyndall.
Hi, my name's Lyndall. I'm the founder of House of Stealing Beauty. I'm very, very happy to be part of your interview today. So I can introduce myself by just chatting a little bit more about how the brand was created.
Sure.
So the brand really came out of a deep creative need to curate products that reflected more of an intentional wellness focused lifestyle, one that really embraced the idea of ritualistic self-care. So it started in many ways from my own personal desire. I wanted to curate a single space where I could access all natural, non-toxic skincare and body products that I genuinely loved and trusted. And this was at a time in my life when I really needed them the most. I was pregnant at the time and I found myself jumping between multiple sites, trying to source safe, nourishing products for myself. And it felt quite fragmented. And I remember thinking at the time, wouldn't it be amazing to have one curated hub, a kind of like wellness sanctuary online where I could find all the brands I believed in, not only from a skincare perspective, but also from a lifestyle perspective. And at the same time, my daily rituals were evolving and leaning more into an intentional wellness space, whether it was through meditation, skincare, yoga, and just taking small moments of calm amidst the chaos of early motherhood. And it was also during the uncertainty of COVID at that time. And these kind of practices really helped me feel grounded, more balanced and fulfilled. And I noticed how much of a difference it made when I turned my routines into rituals and saw beautiful products and really created space for myself. But fundamentally, the brand's roots are also deeply creative. I've been a curator at heart. I'm a creative. I love design. I love thoughtful spaces. And I've always had an eye for what makes a place, like a space, feel special.
Yes.
And so while traveling around South Africa, also I stayed in some beautiful cabins and hideaways, and I found myself really inspired by the aesthetics and the natural beauty and like the craftsmanship of local design. But I kind of felt like there was a missing layer, so something that combined that sense of sanctuary with local wellness and clean beauty. And then another thing I noticed was that not many boutique travel experiences were really showcasing and integrating locally made products, like especially in the wellness space. So a lot of them were like stocking imported or very sort of like generic products. So I saw an opportunity to change that and to sort of like elevate local craftsmanship and make guests feel really connected to the place that they're visiting. From what they're using on their skin to also like their interactions with the rituals in that space. So basically, I decided to create the experience myself. I had an Airbnb apartment in Bantry Bay, which I turned into a wellness sanctuary. So within that space, every detail was intentional. It was custom designed local furniture. It was beautifully made South African body and lifestyle products. And then I also offered like an integrated wellness experience, so it could be guided meditation, one-on-one yoga, cacao ceremonies, massage, so that guests could really experience the space and then also take a bit of it home with them, whether it was the products or simply like the feeling that it
Yes.
created in the space. And basically the response was really positive from that experiential part of curated wellness product, and kind of it sparked the next phase of the journey, which was taking the curation online. So today the brand is both a platform as well as a philosophy. So it brings together clean, conscious products with a strong sense of place, beauty, and intention. So it's really about helping people create everyday rituals that nurture the self and that
Yes.
they're also grounded in like craftsmanship and natural wellness. So yeah, that's where we're at today.
They're absolutely beautiful. I mean, they immediately stood out to me because we've got such a focus on wellness, but sometimes that wellness, it's to do with your mental state, your physical
Mm.
state of thing. But going into skincare is such a lovely an amazing place to do that because it's not only involving, as you said, your self-care, but it's also the ingredients. You start looking at the detail, and that's so
Yeah.
important. I'd love for you to tell us about your products in general. I know you've already mentioned the link to African luxury. It's a beautiful thing to have that local touch. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. So at House of Stealing Beauty, our products are all locally sourced, first and foremost, and they're thoughtfully crafted to create like a deeply sensory experience. And we've just launched our own range, which we're actively expanding. And the products are all rooted in simplicity and nature and designed to feel incredible on the skin while evoking like a subtle, transportive scent profile. All of our products in our range are anchored in neroli and bergamot scent.
Love.
So our collection is entirely unisex, which was obviously a deliberate decision because the brand was born from a desire to be integrated into like a curated hospitality space and spaces. And we wanted our formulations to really reflect that. So they're elegant, they're inclusive, they kind of seamlessly fit into shared environments. And so from a design perspective, we've really stripped everything back to what's essential. So formulas that are highly effective, they're visually refined, and they're elevated enough to live beautifully both in luxury settings and on your bathroom shelf at home. So, I mean, like, I don't know about you, but like a lot of the products I'd previously used were kind of felt very disposable or impersonal. So like your body products that you use in the shower, your shampoos, conditioners. And what we really wanted to create was something different and more ritualistic, like nourishing and also emotionally resonant. So they kind of bring about the sense of calm, nostalgia. There's a tactile pleasure there as well in using the product. So, and then just to speak to our vision of African luxury, it's obviously grounded in this core idea. So true luxury is not about excess, it's about presence. So knowing what our continent offers in terms of like extraordinary botanicals and raw experience, like we've really worked closely with local artisans and formulators to really like honor that richness in a way that feels luxurious, but then also accessible. So we don't really want our products to feel elitist, but we really want them to be integrated into the everyday. So it's beauty basically that's just elevated with care from an African luxury perspective. So when we say
Beautiful
luxury, we don't mean inaccessible or too luxurious. We mean like it's luxurious in its feeling. It's grounded in African roots, basically.
Amazing. Clean beauty is quite a common concept now. It didn't used to be, but what are some common misperceptions about clean beauty?
Clean beauty, yeah, it is a term that's kind of thrown around quite
Thrown
loosely.
around.
And I think that, yeah, I think there are like misperceptions and maybe not that much education around clean beauty. So I guess some of them are like, when you say clean beauty to people who are using a lot of normal or like, mainstream beauty products, they think it's like all natural or DIY. So it's not quite that. So it's not about using ingredients that you can find in your kitchen. It's kind of combining the wisdom of nature with the precision of science. So, some of our ingredients when we talk about clean beauty are obviously naturally sourced. So they're artisanally sourced, while others are really science-backed. So they biofermented, they've got lab stable oxidants. So in the lab, they're making nature identical formulations that are they're nature identical. So they really are effective in preserving the integrity of your skin and the formula. So clean means safe and considered non-toxic, and it's designed obviously with your skin as well as the planet in mind. So that's kind of one. And another one is that clean beauty doesn't do anti-aging. So that's also a misperception because aging is natural. So obviously how we care for it can be as well. So we kind of prefer this term of skin longevity. So we kind of like support the skin's natural regeneration with bioavailable nutrients, peptides and antioxidants and plant actives that work with your biology, not against it. So yes, clean beauty products can be very effective for anti-aging, but we don't promise overnight miracles. We focus on building like resilience, hydration, and glow over time. So we kind of eradicate the harsh synthetics or barrier damaging ingredients, and we rather put in skin renewal, and barrier renewal ingredients into natural formulations. So it is very much to do with anti-aging, but it's got a long-term,
goal.
goal. Yeah. And what else? I'm thinking, again, like clean beauty. I think people think it's just a trend as well because it's thrown around in
Yes,
so
it's a
many
new
contexts.
buzzword. Yeah.
It's like a buzzword, like clean beauty, this, da, da, da. But
Mm,
we kind of see it differently. So for us, it's part of like a broader wellness philosophy. It's a way of living in harmony with nature, community, and also your like inner landscape. So it's kind of not just a label, it is a lifestyle of care, curiosity, and connection. And it's long-term maintenance. It's not, and it's also giving back to the planet long term. It's not just a term that we kind of like are going to move on from or evolve from. It's part of our ethos and who we are as a brand.
You've got quite a beautiful array of self-care products on your website. I can clearly see that self-care is very important to you, especially as a woman. I think it's a ritual that is really something we all need to come back to and prioritize, because I think we're so rushed and busy being moms and bosses, and we've got so many things on our plates. What are your thoughts towards self-care and the ritual of preserving that?
So I think like the notion of self-care has definitely changed. And for us, it's not a luxury. It's like a form of quiet resistance, I think, especially for women. It's a way of reclaiming time, space, and also softness in a world that is constantly demanding productivity and perfection. And I think like by creating rituals that ground you and nourish you and kind of reconnect you to yourself, um, you know, that for me is the quiet resistance part. And our products are also designed to support those everyday rituals for that exact reason. So not seen as an indulgence, but like a necessity. And it's an essential part of a practice, a daily practice. And also in the context of womanhood, which can carry like so many expectations and roles. As you say, self-care does become a way to recenter, to honor yourself, and to kind of move through the world from a place of intention and rootedness in yourself. So it's such an essential
Absolutely.
part of being a woman, the self-care aspect. And, my hope is that with time, we kind of like let go of that guilt and that sense of like, oh, it's too indulgent. It's part of an everyday ritual, and that's what we're trying to foster in our community, is that slowing down and taking a moment for yourself.
Yes, and maybe also to make it sort of become like a tradition. Like I try and involve my daughter, who's quite young still, but
Mm,
in that, so that every day she does it with me, and hopefully one day she'll do it herself and pass it down. It's such an
totally.
important thing. It's a beautiful thing, actually.
Yeah, and I also think like, yeah, there is that with women, but it's also with men as well. I feel like men are also like there's a strange like perception that they need to be not taking care of themselves as well. Like I'm always saying to my husband,
Yes,
have a bath, put on a face mask, light some candles, like take a
yeah,
moment
take
for
the
yourself,
time.
But yeah, I do think that it's like our duty to just filter that into the family environment as well.
Absolutely. So this is a great question, but do you think this clean and more natural trend in beauty will help to literally clean up some of the larger beauty retail houses that say their brands are, they market them a certain way, but we all know if we look at the ingredient list that they're
Mm.
not actually clean?
Yeah, so I think it is a great question, and I think it's part of, where there is a major shift happening. And I think like the rise of clean and natural beauty like reflects also like a deeper cultural shift. So like a growing awareness of how what we put on our skin affects not only ourselves but also the planet. So I think the movement has potential to encourage larger beauty houses to rethink their practices, also their ingredients and their sourcing, and transparency, as you say, like transparency is everything. But I think true change comes from like, this kind of intention and integrity, and not just like trend following, for instance.
Absolutely.
So we kind of like hope to inspire this shift by showing that clean beauty can be luxurious, it can be effective, and it's also rooted in respect for nature and community. So I think like ultimately the most meaningful progress will come when brands of all sizes kind of like embrace responsibility, like not because it's popular, but because it's absolutely necessary. So I think that will become much more of a focus. And from a consumer point of view, consumers will be looking to brands to be more transparent.
And it builds the trust. It builds the trust. I mean, I don't trust someone that's telling me something, but then when I look at the back of the bottle, they've got absolutely everything that goes against the concept they're selling.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So on that note, we've obviously heard a bit about the reason why you've chosen to do certain things and chosen to go down a specific avenue. But what made you choose to offer plant-based natural products and ingredients? Was it just because you were pregnant at the time, or was everything kind of leading to this path?
I think like choosing to work with plant-based ingredients, it was never like a trend-driven decision. It was quite instinctive. So as I said before, we're deeply inspired by the richness of our natural landscape here in South Africa and in Africa. Fundamentally, like the wisdom that's really like embedded into our botanicals and traditional remedies. So yeah, I think there's something like very grounding working with ingredients that are alive with history, culture, and like healing properties at the end of the day. So I think like for us, using plant-based formulations is kind of like creating a more intuitive relationship with your skin. It's like respecting your body's natural rhythms and also from where it comes from. So it's also about transparency and trust, like we've just spoken about. And I think I do also believe in offering products that are not only effective, but they kind of like feel good in every sense. When you're using it, you know they're sourced and they're crafted to the way they make you feel. So our general approach is like slow, sensory, and it's honest. So it's like celebrating nature in its most intelligent and luxurious form.
Yes. And I think there's a great feeling around, a great energy around knowing that you are doing something great, not only for yourself, but for the planet as well. Like you're doing your bit.
Yeah.
There's an added layer.
Definitely.
One of our favorite items on your website has to be those patches. When we came across them, we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about them and how they work.
So the Pleroma patches are transdermal patches. It's basically, you can think of them as like a gentle, skin-friendly delivery system. So they're designed to sit comfortably on your skin, and they kind of like slowly release active ingredients that are like then carefully passed through your skin and surface layers into your bloodstream. So what that means is they kind of like they steadily release, all of the active ingredients like into your system, and it means that you get consistent benefits throughout the day. So instead of like needing to reapply things, that it steadily releases into your system. And also because the ingredients bypass the digestive system, it's kind of like a smoother, kinder way to your body to absorb what it needs. So it kind of makes the self-care thing a little bit effortless and effective. So, and there are three: there's the recovery patch, there's the period patch, and there is the sleep patch. I mean, I use all three. The sleep patches work amazingly. They're all obviously 100% natural. There's no toxins in them. It's just a really effective way of getting all the like benefits of multivitamins going into your system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, those are one of the three concerns. Well, not concerns, but challenges that we're dealing with: lack of sleep, period pain, all of that. So these are amazing.
Exactly. It's like the three things that all women like want.
The holy trinity of functioning well.
I know, and like whenever I put one of those patches on, I'm like ready to go, I'm good to go for the day.
Another good question. Can you explain to us what an endocrine disruptor is? We saw that some of your products have this certification, which is amazing, that it's free of products that will be disruptors. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so an endocrine disruptor is basically found in a lot of beauty products actually and other products. And it's basically a chemical that really interferes with like your natural hormone balance. It's like hormones are these little messages that are telling your body to sleep, to grow, to feel. And when these disruptors come into play, they can confuse or like block the messages, which might affect things like mood, skin health, energy levels, etc. So that's why we're really mindful about avoiding the ingredients so your skincare supports your body's natural rhythm, rather than like throwing it off balance. So that's why it's so important, like to not have endocrine disruptors in the product, because we're already being disrupted on so
We
many
already,
levels.
exactly. Now to add to that whole,
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of like education around that is coming through, and women are becoming like a little bit more educated and, yeah, and aware, which is great.
I think we should have this on everything, really. I mean, any kind of disruptor is something that you've got to take seriously.
Yeah,
If it's not natural, it shouldn't be anywhere around you.
yeah, and like our generation, well, my generation, we didn't have like any of this education or this like source of information. So, it's at least it's all there
Yeah,
now.
coming out there,
Coming out.
exactly. A bit late,
A little
bit
bit
late.
late for some, but we do what we can.
Um, okay, great. So we also see that there's quite a few products that are geared towards feminine health, which we absolutely love.
Mm.
Also helping with hormone regulation, which is for my age group a huge thing. Can you tell us a
Yeah,
bit
me too.
more about how these work? Yeah, sort of the perimenopausal kind of
Yeah, the perimenopausal. It's the word on everyone's
the
like
word,
the word
exactly, the word on the
the,
street.
the word on the street is perimenopause. But yeah, so we obviously stock the Kiko Vitals range on our site.
Yes,
And we love that we stock it because it speaks to beauty from the inside as well. And that really is
yes.
what our brand is about. It's about glowing from the inside out. And so we feel like it was a really good fit for us to partner with them, offering, this kind of like hormonal supplement. But obviously they do the hormone balance and the menopause balance, which are both great, alongside de-bloat and gut glow, which I also take every day. I take the hormone balance every day. And basically it's like considered as a plant-powered ally for women in their menstrual years. It's like it's formulated, with a thoughtful blend of clinically studied herbal extracts. And it basically works in harmony with your body's natural rhythms to keep your everything in balance. So you kind of feel like a subtle yet powerful shift over time, steadier energy, deeper sleep, clearer skin, more regular
It's
cycles,
amazing.
generally like a sense of calm throughout the day. So, I mean, obviously it's not an immediate result. You
No,
have
no,
to be
no.
taking them for like a month.
Consistent.
Consistently, I take mine every single day, and it's had a massive difference on my cycles, my fluctuations, mood, everything. So combined with like good gut health, which obviously affects your hormonal health as well, they're really an amazing supplement. So yeah.
And
And again,
apparently, gut health has a direct link to your mental health. So
oh,
it's all
100%.
brilliant. Yeah,
100%. And I think that is really, what we're about, is like an integrated approach to wellness. So,
yes,
it's not just a clean beauty brand, it's everything. It's a self-care
absolutely.
brand that speaks to all of these things that you need to integrate into your life to kind of
Mm.
the mental health, on a steady level, and
You can't
looking
just
after your
focus on one
body and mind.
area.
Yeah,
It's a holistic kind of approach to your health and wellness. It's
100%. Yeah.
lovely. Um, okay, perfect. So now we would love to have the lowdown on your famous prickly pear oil.
Or the prickly
Apparently, it
pear
is
seed oil, yeah.
brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, no, people love that. It's one of our best sellers. And I think
Yeah.
it's because it is such a unique product. It's obviously 100% pure prickly pear seed oil, so it's very concentrated. It's 100% pure. There's nothing else added to it. And basically the prickly pear, I mean, they're famous for being in South America, but we also harvest them here in the Free State. And basically, it's cold pressed by hand from the fruit that's sourced locally in the Free State. So it's very pure, it's very traceable. It's kind of one of the most precious oils in the world, because each liter requires almost a ton of fruit to actually make, like it's from the seed. So it's not actually from the fruit. So it's really, really rich in like powerful skin healing actives. So I think the South African beauty space, it's quite a new product, but it has actually been used for centuries for its regenerative properties and healing properties. And yeah, what makes it kind of really special is that it's got exceptionally high levels of vitamin E. So if you think about argan oil
Amazing.
having vitamin E, it's got about 150% more than that. Plus, it's got essential fatty acids and then vitamin K, which is quite a unique ingredient. And that obviously hydrates, it repairs, it plumps the skin. And the best part about it is that when you think oil, you think, no, I don't want oil on my face. I don't want to feel oily, but it's really lightweight, and it doesn't clog pores, which is why we get a lot of people that suffer with acne or very dry or sensitive skin buying it. Also, we get a lot of people who have gone through chemo that aren't able to use, any other. They're not allowed to use a lot of active ingredients on their
Yes.
skin. So they choose the prickly pear seed oil because it's highly nourishing, especially when you've gone through through chemo, and they use it on their face, body, and I've had, just really great response, as a beauty product as well. Like I use it as a serum on my face. I use very, very small amounts. You can mix it with your balms. You can use it as a pure serum onto your face, onto your body, onto sensitive areas, or if you've got any like skin concerns like eczema or dry patches or anything like that, it really works beautifully. It's like a skin elixir.
Can you use it on your hair as well? Sort of
Yes,
like
so you
as a
can also
dry
use it
oil?
100%. Yeah, you can use it on your hair. You kind of just, kind of like work it into the hair gently.
Yeah.
Just put a little bit in the palm of your hand. Yeah, it's really an amazing product.
What can we look forward to at House of Steel and Beauty? What kind of parting guidance can you leave with us in terms of how we choose to self-care, in terms of beauty and the products we use, maybe like a rule of thumb of how to also sort of be able to tell what is a clean product and what isn't?
Yeah, so firstly, we've got some exciting things on the horizon at House of Steel and Beauty. We've got our second Glow and Flow half-day beauty retreat happening at One Flow Yoga Wellness Club in Greenpoint in Cape Town. We've had one already, it was really successful, so we're doing another one on the 7th of June. And that is kind of like a core philosophy of our brand. We collaborate with like-minded communities and spaces to kind of host events that really talk to holistic wellness and
Yes.
self-care. So this event is all about taking time out for yourself. It's a half-day beauty retreat. It's rooted in ritual, which obviously mimics like our brand ethos, and it'll be a combination of meditation, breath work. There'll be a sauna journey with a cold plunge. And then this is obviously all woven in with our skincare rituals. So exfoliation, scrubs, face masks, skincare is woven into the full experience, which is really nice. And then obviously guests can take some products of ours home in a gift bag. So there's that like nice little gift at the end, and they can experience those products at home. And then we're also like hosting some really intimate workshops at some boutique hospitality spaces around the city. We'll be sending out newsletters and post on our socials about that coming up. And then on the product side, we're kind of quietly expanding our range and also stepping into the halal beauty space.
Yes.
Which I think is a growing market and a very important one. And we really want to offer our range of products in that space as well. And then we're also preparing for our entry into some exciting international retail environments. So, looking at bringing African luxury products to the rest of the world, which is great. And we're looking forward to sharing that with everybody. And then in terms of clean beauty and like rule of thumb, when looking at clean beauty products, I think that it's like about choosing beauty that really feels like a return to yourself. So if it brings you calm, connection, and clarity, it's definitely worth keeping. So I think it's like looking out for products that are made with intention. So not just marketing, ones that honor your body, rather than trying to fix it. And then,
Exactly.
I guess self-care isn't really about like perfection or performance. It's kind of like building these rituals, every day into your life. So if the product makes you feel good and it's made well with intention, I would say, transparency as well, transparency and trust. Working with products that are trusted and how they're made, and there's a bit of science behind them as well.
I don't know why I didn't ask you this in the beginning, but I'm starting to wonder now, how did you come to the name House of Stealing Beauty? Because it's a very beautiful name and it also stands out quite a lot.
Thank you. Weirdly, actually came from, which is totally unrelated, but it came from my obsession with, I mean, you're probably in the same age group as I'm, so you might remember this, but it's my obsession with that movie, Stealing
That
Beauty, that
movie,
90s cult classic with Liv Tyler. And basically, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with that movie because the artistic and poetic and the environment just was so nostalgic, and it kind of spoke to this like beautiful, slow living and slowing down. And I was so obsessed with that movie. I think I've watched it like 1,000 times. And then when I was like conceptualizing this concept,
yeah,
especially around the space, the Airbnb space, the wellness sanctuary, it kind of like came into play there where it spoke to not only aesthetics and taking time for yourself, but also, this notion of like creating time and space that
it
feels
definitely
non-linear,
encompasses a
you
space.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So yeah, it's kind of like grew from that, like, and it just made sense that, yeah, it just made a lot of
It's a
sense.
lovely name.
And then I was like,
That's
just
it.
registered the domain, and it's been like that ever since.
Amazing. And then our last question. So if someone wants to contact you or find the brand, I know you've got a website.
Yeah, so we actually now 100% online only. Well, not only. I had to close my little space, my little Airbnb space, because the block kind of said no to Airbnbs anymore, like every block on the Atlantic seaboard is doing at the moment. Yeah, so I closed the space and the curation is online. And then we do a lot of events and collaborations where we do like little pop-ups, which we post on our socials, so you can kind of find those updates there. And we send out newsletters, obviously, with our where we'll be coming up, and we do karmas most of the time. We've done a few. I don't know if you know Karma's Makers, at kind of like big retail event that happens there. We also stock our products at a local store in Cape Town called Together, and our era as well in Cape Town. And we're just looking to obviously start stocking in spaces that align with our brand values and kind of like mimic our brand ethos of slow, sustainable living and wellness. So we're kind of growing into those spaces, but for now, it's mainly online.
And your socials, Instagram, Facebook, are you on TikTok at all?
We are on TikTok, yeah. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, great. Well, I'm sure if anyone needs to reach out, they'll do so. It's been lovely interviewing you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolute pleasure. It was so lovely to meet you and to connect with like-minded people and brands as well. It's really important to us.
Thanks so
So
much.
thank you so much for your time.